everyone, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. As always, I am Peter from Solid Pipe Films, but today I'm not. Today I am going to be Stanley, and this is a story about me. First of all, I just want to say that this game, the title screen here is brilliant. I love it. It's copied into the computer screen, and then copied into the computer screen, and so on and so forth. And I don't know if it's going to come out in the final production, but right here at the top of the corner, there's my little sub-window for recording the game, my recording software. You wouldn't see it, it would be up here in this corner, but it's actually mirrored into this part here, so I'm not sure if it's actually there for you to see. It may not be, but if it's not, then there's no point in me saying this. Anyway, I know this game's been out for a while, so obviously people have done this playthrough already, but I haven't, and I'm just trying to put as much content on my channel as possible, and this looks like a lot of fun from what I've seen, so we're going to go ahead and just jump in it. I have no idea what's going on in this game. I just played it for a little bit just to, you know, get used to the controls, of which it's very simple. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Stanley.
That's me.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
It's a lot of employees.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk,
Boring.
telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Blurry. Any glasses?
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Wow.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending,
Like
Stanley
me.
relished every moment that the orders came in.
Well, to each
Though
their
he'd
own.
been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Well, like I said, to each their own.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Well, that's good.
Something
Finally.
that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Maybe it's the weekend and I just kind of came in when the office is closed, or maybe it's a holiday? Maybe everyone's been abducted by aliens? I don't know. Well, can't do anything in this room. I already figured that out, so we're not going to bother. Okay, well, no one in there. Number 429's not there.
All of his co-workers were gone.
There they are.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, maybe I'm searching a little too thoroughly here for a lack of people. This door has no number on it, and it doesn't open. It's locked. Okay, well, no one's here. Although everyone seems to have littered everywhere with papers and stuff. Look at this. Right outside of, 420. No, 420. Wonder what goes on in that room. Yeah, spilling coffee. I hate Mondays. I hate Mondays too. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, fortunately. And nothing going on in that room, although I wish I could see what was on that board. Can't really read it. It's kind of blurry. Something about this quarter. Looks like they have suspension bridge, but that's not really what that is. Some kind of graph. I don't know. Oh well.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm feeling a little defiant. And this door just shut behind me. I don't know. Left or right? You know what? Nope, screw you. I'm going right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Damn right.
Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yes, I do.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes, because while everyone is missing in my office and it's eerily quiet and there's like looks like everyone ran out of here and just threw papers everywhere. Yeah, the next thing I want to do is definitely go admire the break room. Oh, wow. It's very nice.
Truly a room worth admiring.
Yeah,
it had really been worth the detour after all,
Absolutely.
just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
It's actually pretty nice. Not sure why there's a step here like this. That's kind of weird. It's actually... Hang on a second.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Well, I just wanted to point out, Mr. Narrator, since you're in my head or something, narrating my life, these steps are not to code. Look
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Alright, you got a point.
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
You might have a point there. Okay, I'll leave. But I'm just saying, this step is not the code. That's like a foot tall. Building code wouldn't allow that.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Gee, what, that I should probably leave the room? You got it.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope, being defined again.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. That's a warning sign in this warehouse. Also, this planning table is really tall. Okay, we're in a warehouse by the looks of it. Oop. Okay, let's see what's out here. Okay, a little creepy as the doors keep shutting on me. Oh, I don't have a key card. Forklift, I used to drive one of those. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. Penalty for jumping off cargo lift, $5,000. Also, my life. If I'm dead, I can't really pay you, can I? That truck is running down there. I'm not gonna jump. I'm just gonna get on the cargo lift.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Well,
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
I don't know what you are.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Her? Her who?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Who's her?
She's been waiting.
Who? Look, you should probably just tell me if you're just gonna mention this her multiple times. I mean, use proper English, dude. Like, enunciate, name. Who are we talking about here? There's nothing here. Someone forget to pay the electric bill, or, you know, oh boy, I don't like this. Oh, duh!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh. This isn't good. What? 427? That's my number, isn't it?
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Ah! Holy shit.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
No.
They'd want to commit their life to you.
Wow.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Dick.
I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I guess so, although creepy statue, that's Really creepy that moved like that.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
I'm pressing the buttons, I don't know
Look
why.
at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Something just disappeared next to me.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Definitely in the unknown now, although it's not wonderful.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
Something else just
First, he
disappeared.
imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
What happens if I don't press a button? I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna stare at this clock. Although, maybe it won't progress unless I do. Well, shit, okay.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Oh my God.
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls.
What?
And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Are you telling me I did the wrong thing?
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Wait.
In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
This room is slowly becoming my office.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it. How long do I have to wait? I feel like I'm just gonna wait here forever if I don't press the button. But now I'm trying to obey the narrator because if I... It seems like defying him has led me to this place that's now like my own personal hell that I'm stuck in. I can't get to the door, it's locked, I can't get into the bedroom because there's a thing there. I guess I have to press the button.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
No, I can.
How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
A mirror?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
Well, I don't think the game crashed, but, back to the loading screen, and...
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, jeez.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, we're back at the beginning, so let's see what happens.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Well, we're making the decisions the narrator... So this is a slideshow about slideshows. Okay. Don't know who's forwarding that. Broom closet. Oh, wow. That door actually opened.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I feel like you're lying. I like how that roll of rope...
There was nothing here.
Has a
No
nuclear
choice to
symbol on
make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Fine.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You know what? No. Going downstairs. Getting out of here. Nope, we're leaving. There's a
But
car here.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
This guy left
He
his
might
lights
be
on.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations.
Wait a minute.
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Oh, yeah,
Why
look
did
at that.
doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
That too.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Yeah, they
Were
are.
they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh, this is weird.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid?
Okay,
And
that
then
was
perhaps
trippy.
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
Yeah?
Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Yeah, why is that?
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream.
Oh, great.
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
That's true.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Well, shit.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just...
Calm down.
He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
I would.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
I don't think I am. Oh shit, I'm still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Wait, what? Jumping here.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh my.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
What a bitch. At least call the ambulance, that was your first thought. Are we really going back to the beginning? Oh. Well, we'll leave it off here for the first episode, I guess. This has been Peter, aka Stanley, with Solid Pipe Films. Until next time, we'll somehow finish this game.